Don't kill little baby chickens. Be nice. Ain't trying to find a brand new solution. Zombie chicken retribution.
I can't believe this. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die.
Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for this traumatic experience. It's very interesting, different than what you see at your local multiplex. So maybe a first question from my side, and then we'll also ask the audience if they have any questions. The audience really appreciated your movie, as you saw, laughed with it. The response was great, and when we were talking before, you said that you had free screenings packed at Cannes. So, and on the other side, you also complained that it's getting harder and harder for films like this to get them to the audience. So, what seems to be the problem? Can you explain us a little bit why is that?
Well, first of all, thank you for being such an appreciative audience at the European premiere of Poultrygeist. It was wonderful. Thomas and Grossmann Film&Wine Festival. The problem with the art in Western society is it's not just this kind of film, it's independent art. If you are doing something independently, it is very hard to penetrate the hymen of the mainstream. There are a small number of giant media conglomerates that are controlling access to the public. So that is the problem. Any kind of independent film, if it's going to get a big audience, it's coming in through vassals of the big conglomerates, like 20th Century Fox's Fox Searchlight or Sony Classics. And it's unfortunate, but we are living in an age of kind of artistic fascism. And companies like Troma, in fact, you won't find many studios that are independent that are lasting for more than a year or two, which is a pity, because so much of the great talents of today have come out of studios like Roger Corman and Troma. When I started in the 1970s, there were many little studios like Troma, and they could all compete. But many of the laws and regulations that used to protect us against monopoly have been destroyed. And luckily, the spirit of idealism and independence is very much alive here in Slovenia, and thanks to Grossmann Film&Wine, there's a spark here that will grow. And we will, using new technology, we will throw out the yoke of these oppressive conglomerates, and independent art will reign, because there are many, many, many films being made through the new technology and through the internet and through piracy and bootlegging. We will kill our baby food. There will be no more Transformers.
So maybe just one more question relating to this. So what would be the typical now path of a movie like this? Where would it go? What would be the distribution? And what would be what are your future plans according to the digital revolution that you just mentioned?
Well, we went to a lot of trouble to make this movie in 35mm, and we will. Our fans would like to see a movie on a big screen and have the pleasure of communal experience. So, at least in my country, we will release the film theatrically with a small number of prints and move the prints around from city to city. We used to, before many of the regulations that prevented monopoly were done away with, we could get many, many, many theaters. Now, maybe we will have a total of 300 in the United States, one by one by one by one. If So that's how we will do. We'll start with theatrical distribution and then see what's going on. Right now, the only countries that have acquired this movie are Russia and Denmark.
The most progressive countries. Maybe any question from the audience? I can imagine there are some. So. I can see you back there, but can you scream?
I don't know if you already answered the question, but what was a typical budget of a film like this?
A typical budget?
Yeah, what's the budget on it?
No budget.
This particular movie is, because of $35mm, was about $500,000, which the average mainstream movie now, as you know, is 80 million to 100 million. So this movie is about 1/2 of 1% of typical 35mm American, or not necessarily American, but international mainstream movie. It's still a shitload of money, however.
Anybody else?
Are there grants in the U.S.?
If there are any grants, like artistic grants, I imagine there are, but maybe not for a trauma kind of movies.
There are many foundations and there are National Endowment of the Arts, but I think for those, pretty much there's a grant for many, many different subjects. If you want to make a movie about copulating with donkeys, there's probably a foundation, the Copulation of Donkeys Foundation, to which you can apply and get money. But if you are of a mind that is different from what is available, then unless you give the foundations or the government grant what they want to hear, you're not going to get any money.
How did you get the hardest working actor in America? Of course, I'm referring to the famous Ron Jeremy here, to appear in your movie.
Ron Jeremy was very great. For those of you who don't know him, he is a very, very famous Shakespearean actor. In the old Vic, he did The Merchant of Penis, as you know. And he actually, Ron Jeremy is quite an expert on pop culture. And we started to use Ron Jeremy in Class of Newcomb High Part 2 in 1988, I think, 89, when he was not quite as well liked. In those days, people thought he was very disgusting. But now, and he was better looking too, and now that he's fat and hairy and pretty ugly, everyone loves him. Troma, we also have Troma's movie collection. We got the first movie with Robert De Niro, and first Dustin Hoffman, and the guys from South Park, Cannibal Musical, is their first movie. So Troma has brought many great talents, including Ron Jeremy, to the mainstream. We're very proud of that.